The Great Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with fear. Admiral Quan Deho walked through the massive doors and felt hundreds of alien eyes watching him. This was his first time in the council chambers, and he tried not to show his amazement at the sight before him. The room was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. Crystal beings from the planet Vorthak made soft humming sounds that filled the air like music. Tall, thin creatures with too many arms whispered to each other in clicking languages. Some aliens floated in the air, while others crawled on the walls like giant spiders. Quan walked to the human section, where Dr. Park Sojin and Commander Lee Tae-min were already waiting. Sojin looked nervous, her hands shaking slightly as she held her data pad. Tae-min stood straight and calm, like a soldier should, but Quan could see worry in his eyes. "Any word on what this emergency meeting is about?" Quan asked quietly. "Nothing good," Tae-min replied. "Look at them. I've never seen aliens this scared." The massive alien at the front of the room raised forearms for silence. This was High Counselor Vextar, leader of the Galactic Council. He was 12 feet tall with gray skin and eyes like black holes. When he spoke, his voice was deep and made the floor shake. "Friends of the galaxy," Vextar began, "we face our darkest hour. The enemy we feared would never come has arrived at our borders." A huge screen appeared in the air above them. It showed star maps with red dots spreading across the galaxy like a disease. Quan felt his stomach drop as he watched the red areas grow bigger and bigger. "The Devourers have begun their march toward the core worlds," Vextar continued. "They have already consumed 17 star systems. Every world they touch becomes dead rock." An insect-like alien with sharp claws stood up. "Honored Counselor, our fleets have tried to stop them. Our best weapons do nothing. They eat our ships like we eat food." Murmurs of fear spread through the chamber. Some aliens made sounds like crying. Others just stared at the screen in shock. Dr. Park Sojin leaned over to Quan. "I've read about the Devourers in the old records. They're like a virus that eats entire planets. They turn everything living into more of themselves." "How do you fight something like that?" Quan asked. "You don't," she whispered back. "That's why everyone is so scared." High Counselor Vexitar continued his speech. "Our military leaders say we have perhaps 6 months before they reach the inner worlds. Our weapons cannot harm them. Our ships cannot outrun them. Our shields cannot stop them." A crystalline alien that looked like living diamond spoke up. "What about the warrior races? The Krallian Empire has the strongest military in the galaxy." "The Krallians lost 3 battle fleets last week," Vextar replied sadly. "The Devourers consumed them all. Every ship, every soldier, gone." The silence in the room was terrible. Quan looked around at the faces of dozens of alien species, all showing the same expression: hopelessness. Then Vextar looked directly at the human section. "Which brings us to why we have called our newest members here today." All eyes turned to Quan and his team. He felt like a small fish in an ocean of sharks. "Humans," Vextar said, "your species is young. You have been part of our council for only 2 years. Your technology is primitive compared to ours. Your ships are slow and weak." Quan felt his face get hot with anger, but he kept quiet. "However," the giant alien continued, "your planet is unique in one way. Earth is what we call a death world. Most planets in the galaxy are peaceful places where life grows slowly and safely. Your world is different. Your world creates killers, Doctor." Sojin stood up. She was small compared to the aliens around her, barely 5 feet tall, but her voice was clear and strong. "Honored Counselor, it's true that Earth had a violent evolution. For billions of years, life on our planet survived by eating other life. We call it the food chain. Every creature had to kill to live, or be killed by something else." "Yes," Vextar nodded. "And this created something we have never seen before. Your planet made perfect predators, animals that exist only to hunt and kill other animals. A snake-like alien with many heads spoke up. "But Counselor, humans are small and weak. How can tiny death world creatures help us when our great armies have failed?" Quan stood up slowly. He was tired of aliens calling humans weak. "May I speak, honored counselor?" "You may." Quan looked around the room at all the alien faces. It's true that humans are not the biggest or strongest species here. But size isn't everything. On Earth, the most dangerous predators are often small. A tiny spider can kill animals 1,000 times bigger. A small virus can destroy an entire forest. He walked to the center of the room so everyone could see him better. "You say your weapons don't work on the devourers. Your tactics fail because they think like machines, like computers. But Earth's predators don't think like computers. They think like hunters. They use tricks and traps and teamwork that no machine can predict." "What are you saying, human?" asked the insect alien. Commander Taemin stood up next to Quan. "We're saying that maybe it takes a predator to catch a predator." High Counselor Vexitar leaned forward. "Are you offering to help us fight the devourers?" "Yes," Quan said without hesitation. "But we do it our way, with our methods, and with our allies." "What allies?" Vexitar asked. "Earth has no space fleet, no army that could make a difference in this war." Quan smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "Honored Counselor, Earth's greatest weapons were never our ships or our guns. Our greatest weapons are the creatures that made us who we are, the predators that taught us how to hunt." The room erupted in confused voices. Aliens talked loudly to each other in dozens of languages. Some laughed at the idea of animals fighting in space. Others looked curious. Dr. Sojin activated her datapad and projected images into the air. Pictures of Earth's most dangerous animals appeared above the crowd. Sharks with rows of razor teeth, tigers with claws like knives, wolves hunting in perfect coordination, eagles diving at incredible speeds. "These are Earth's apex predators," she explained. "Each one evolved to be the perfect killer in its environment. They have abilities your technology cannot match. They think in ways your computers cannot understand." "But they are just animals," protested a floating jellyfish-like creature. "They cannot survive in space. They cannot use weapons or fly ships." "Not yet," Quan said quietly. "But give us time, and we'll show you what Earth's children can really do." High Counselor Vexitar was quiet for a long moment. The entire chamber waited for his decision. Finally he spoke. "The Council is desperate. We are facing extinction. If there is even a small chance that your Death World predators can help us, we must try." He looked directly at Quan. "The Council accepts your offer, Admiral Quan Deho. You will have whatever resources you need." "Thank you, honored counselor. You won't regret this decision." "I hope not, human. For all our sakes, I hope not." As the council session ended and aliens began leaving the chamber, Quan activated his quantum communicator. The device connected him instantly to Earth, millions of miles away. "This is Admiral Quan to Earth Command," he spoke into the device. "Earth? Command here, Admiral. How did the meeting go?" Quan looked at the alien ships flying past the chamber's great windows. Soon, those ships would carry humanity into its first galactic war. But they wouldn't be going alone. "Tell Dr. Yoon and the Genesis team that Project Apex has been approved," he said. "It's time to wake up Earth's children. The galaxy is about to learn why we call our planet a death world." The communicator crackled with static as the message traveled across space to Earth, where humanity's secret weapon waited in the depths of hidden laboratories. The war against the Devourers was about to begin, and for the first time in galactic history, predators from Earth would hunt among the Taiyu stars. The Council had accepted humanity's help, but they had no idea what they had just unleashed upon the galaxy. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. Yoon Ji-hai received the message that would change everything. The Genesis bioengineering facility was hidden 3 miles underwater, built inside an extinct volcano. No satellites could see it. No enemy could find it. For 5 years, it had been humanity's most secret project. "Project Apex is authorized," the message said. "Begin Phase 1 immediately." Ji-hai's hand shook as she read the words. She had dreamed of this moment and feared it at the same time. Around her, the massive laboratory stretched out like an underground city. Hundreds of scientists worked at glowing screens and strange machines. But the real magic happened in the chambers beyond. Dr. Yoon called out her assistant, Dr. Kim. Subin, the Admiral's message came through. Are we really doing this? Yes, Jihai said quietly. After all these years of planning and testing, it's finally time. Send word to all department heads. Full activation in 6 hours. Subin ran to spread the news. Jihai walked through the facility's main corridor, past windows that showed the Pacific Ocean above them. Fish swam by peacefully, not knowing that below them humanity was preparing its greatest weapon. She stopped at the first viewing chamber. Inside, behind thick glass, a wolf lay sleeping on a metal table. But this was not an ordinary wolf. Its fur had a strange shine to it, and tubes connected to its body carried glowing blue liquid. Computer screens showed its heartbeat, brain activity, and dozens of other readings. How is Alpha 7 doing? Jihai asked the technician. Better than we hoped, Doctor. The genetic improvements are working perfectly. His intelligence is now equal to a human child. His strength is 3 times that of a normal wolf, and the biosuit integration is complete. Jihai nodded. The biosuit was their greatest breakthrough. It looked like a second skin that covered the animal's body. It provided air for breathing in space, protection from radiation, and even had small thrusters for movement in zero gravity. She moved to the next chamber, where a massive tiger paced back and forth. Its orange and black stripes seemed to shift and change as she watched. This was the camouflage enhancement. The tiger could become nearly invisible by matching its surroundings. Beautiful, isn't she? Said a voice behind her. Jihai turned to see Captain Oh Min-ho approaching. He was the leader of the Human-Animal Combat Corps, the soldiers who would fight alongside these enhanced creatures. Min-ho was a small man, but his eyes held the same intensity as the predators he worked with. Beautiful and deadly, Jihai replied. Sometimes I wonder if we're playing God. Maybe we are, Min-ho said, but if it saves the galaxy from the Devourers, I can live with that. They walked together through the facility, past the Eagle section, where birds with metal-strengthened wings practiced flying in a massive chamber that could simulate any planet's atmosphere, past the shark tanks, where great whites swam through liquid that looked like water, but could exist in the freezing void of space. The neural link technology still amazes me, Jihai said as they watched Min-ho's wolf partner, a gray female named Storm, respond to his thoughts without any spoken commands. It's not technology, Min-ho corrected. Not really. It's trust. These animals choose to work with us. The neural link just helps us understand each other better. They entered the main briefing room where the department heads were gathering. General Nam Hyun-woo was there via video link from Earth Defense Command. His face looked worried on the big screen. Dr. Yoon, the general said, I need to know we're ready for this. The reports from the front lines are getting worse every day. The Devourers have consumed 3 more star systems. We're as ready as we'll ever be, Jihai replied. The first wave of enhanced animals is prepared for deployment. 50 wolves, 30 tigers, 20 eagles, and 15 sharks. That's not very many against an army that destroys entire planets, General Nam said. Captain Min-ho stepped forward. General, you're thinking like a human military leader. These aren't soldiers in the normal sense. They're predators. 1 enhanced. Wolfpack can do what 100 normal soldiers cannot. Explain, the general ordered. Engineer Kim Soo-bin activated the holographic display. Images of the enhanced animals appeared in the air, showing their abilities. The wolves are pack hunters, Soo-bin explained. They can coordinate attacks without radio communications. They think and move as 1 unit. The Devourers' technology can't jam their natural telepathic connection. The display changed to show tigers moving through a jungle. But in the hologram, the tigers seem to disappear and reappear like ghosts. The tigers are silent killers. Their enhanced camouflage makes them invisible to most sensors. Their claws can cut through alien armor like paper. They can hunt alone or in pairs, striking without warning. Next came the eagles. In the hologram, they flew through space around alien ships, moving faster than any spacecraft. The eagles are our scouts and rapid strike force. They can fly in any atmosphere or in the vacuum of space. Their enhanced eyes can spot enemies from miles away. They can carry small explosives and strike precise targets. Finally, the sharks appeared, swimming through what looked like an alien ocean. The sharks are for water worlds and ships with liquid environments. Many alien species live in water or liquid methane. The sharks can hunt them in their own element. General Nam was quiet for a moment. And the ants? I saw reports about enhanced ants. Dr. Yoon smiled. Those are special. Bullet ants with hive mind coordination and bioelectric stun capabilities. They're tiny, but they can disable enemy electronics and overwhelm large targets through sheer numbers. How do our people control these creatures? The general asked. We don't control them, Captain Minho said firmly. We partner with them. Each animal chooses a human companion. We train together, fight together, live together. The neural link lets us share thoughts and feelings, but they're not our slaves. They're our allies. The room fell silent as everyone thought about what this meant. They were about to send living creatures into a war that could destroy the galaxy. Dr. Yoon broke the silence. There's something else, General. Something we discovered during the testing. What? The animals understand what's at stake. When we showed them images of the Devourers destroying planets, they became angry. They want to fight. It's like they know these things are wrong, that they don't belong in the natural order. Engineer Subin nodded. Earth's predators evolved to maintain balance. They kill the weak and sick to keep their prey species healthy. The Devourers kill everything. To our enhanced animals, the Devourers are like a disease that must be stopped. General Nam leaned forward on the screen. When can the first units deploy? The transport ships are ready, Subin reported. Each one is designed as a mobile ecosystem. The animals can live comfortably during long space flights. We can have the first wave at the front lines in 2 weeks. Do it, the general ordered. And Dr. Yoon, the whole galaxy is watching, don't let us down. The video link ended, leaving the room in tense silence. Captain Minho walked to the window overlooking the main lab. Below them, scientists were preparing the enhanced animals for their journey to the stars. Wolves were being fitted with their biosuits. Tigers practiced moving in zero-gravity chambers. Eagles tested their new navigation systems. Are we doing the right thing? Jihai asked quietly. Minho watched as Storm, his wolf partner, looked up at him through the glass and wagged her tail. Even from this distance, he could feel her excitement through their neural link. She knew they were going to fight. And she was eager to protect her pack, which now included all of humanity. I think we are, he said. For the first time in galactic history, Earth's children are going to hunt among the stars. The Devourers think they're the perfect predators. They're about to learn they're wrong. Jihai nodded and activated the facility-wide communication system. Her voice echoed through every chamber and corridor of the hidden base. Attention all personnel. Project Apex is now active. Begin final preparations for deployment. In 72 hours, humanity's greatest allies will join the fight for the galaxy's survival. As she spoke, the enhanced animals throughout the facility seemed to sense the change. Wolves howled in harmony. Tigers roared with anticipation. Eagles screeched their hunting cries. And in the depths of the facility, millions of enhanced ants moved in perfect coordination, ready to swarm across alien battlefields. The secret was out. Earth's deadliest predators were going to war. The planet Korath Prime burned under an alien sky. From orbit, Captain Oh Min-ho could see the scars left by the Devourers across the green world below. What used to be forests and cities were now gray patches of dead land that looked like cancer, spreading across the planet's surface. Take us down to the landing zone, Minho ordered the ship's pilot. Behind him, his team prepared for their first real mission. 12 human soldiers and their enhanced animal partners filled the transport ship. Storm, his gray wolf companion, sat beside him with her biosuit gleaming in the ship's lights. Through the neural link they shared, Minho felt Storm's excitement mixed with caution. She could smell the wrongness of this place even from space. Her instincts told her that something here was very, very dangerous. The ship landed near the Corithian defensive lines. Minho looked out the window at their new allies and tried not to stare. The Corythians were 8 feet tall with green scales and large yellow eyes. They moved like giant lizards walking on 2 legs. Their weapons looked advanced, but their faces showed the same fear he had seen in the Galactic Council. War leader Thessacar approached as the human team left their ship. His soldiers watched nervously as wolves, tigers, and eagles emerged alongside the humans. Some Corythians backed away when they saw the predators. "You are the humans from the Death World," Thessacar said in his hissing voice. His translator made the words sound flat and emotionless. "The council said you would bring allies, but I see only small creatures." "Small but effective," Minho replied politely. He had learned not to get angry when aliens underestimated Earth's animals. They would understand soon enough. Thessacar pointed one clawed finger at Storm. "This animal weighs perhaps 40 pounds. A devourer drone weighs 300 pounds and has armor like a tank. How can such a tiny beast help us?" Sergeant Choi Yunbi stepped forward with her wolf pack, 3 enhanced wolves that moved like shadows around her feet. "War leader, on Earth we have a saying. It's not the size of the wolf in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the wolf." "I do not understand your Earth sayings," Thessacar replied. "I understand only results. My warriors have been fighting the devourers for 3 months. We have lost half our forces. Our best weapons barely scratch their armor." Lieutenant Park Ji-won joined the conversation. His tiger partner, a massive female named Flame, sat beside him cleaning her claws. Even sitting, the tiger was almost as tall as a human. "Tell us about the devourers," Ji-won said. "What are we really fighting?" Thessacar's yellow eyes darkened with memory. "They are like nothing in nature. Half machine, half living creature. They consume everything they touch and turn it into more of themselves. A single devourer can become 2, then 4, then 8. They learn from every battle and adapt their tactics." "What do they look like?" asked Yunbi. "Come, I will show you." Thessacar led them to an observation post on a hill overlooking the battle zone. Through powerful telescopes, the humans got their first look at the enemy that had terrified the galaxy. The devourers moved across the landscape like a living carpet of metal and flesh. They had no fixed shape. Some looked like giant spiders, made of steel and bone. Others like walking tanks with too many legs. Still others like flying creatures with wings of living metal. But they all shared the same hungry alien intelligence. "They work as one mind," Thessacar explained. "When one learns something, they all learn it. When we developed new tactics, they adapted within hours. When we built new defenses, they found ways around them the same day." Minho studied the enemy through his binoculars. "How do they communicate?" "Some kind of electronic signal we cannot block or jam. They coordinate perfectly, like parts of one giant machine." Storm pressed against Minho's leg, and through their link, he felt her thoughts. The devourers smelled wrong to her. They smelled like death, but not the clean death of the hunt. They smelled like sickness and decay. "What's their biggest weakness?" Ji-won asked. Thessacar made a sound like a bitter laugh. "If they had a weakness, would we be losing this war? They are too strong for direct assault, too smart for ambush, too many for siege warfare." "Everyone has a weakness," Yunbi said quietly. "Even perfect predators." That night the human team made camp near the Corythian lines. While the soldiers slept, the enhanced animals prowled the perimeter. They moved silently through the darkness, their senses alert for any sign of danger. Minho couldn't sleep. He stood watch with Storm, both of them staring toward the devourer territory. The enemy had gone quiet after sunset, but their presence felt like a weight in the air. "What do you think, girl?" he whispered to his wolf partner. "Can we really beat these things?" Through their neural link, Storm sent him images and feelings. She showed him memories of wolf packs hunting creatures much larger than themselves. She showed him how predators used patience, cunning, and teamwork to bring down prey that seemed impossible to kill. But mixed with the confidence was worry. The devourers were not natural prey. They did not follow the rules that governed the hunt between predator and prey. They were something else entirely. At dawn, the attack came. Alarms screamed across the Corithian base as Devourer scouts approached the defensive lines. Minho and his team rushed to the observation post to see what they were facing. Only 12 scouts, Thessalcar reported. Small ones. My warriors can handle this easily. But as they watched, the Corithian defenders opened fire with their energy, weapons. The beams struck the Devourers directly, but the creatures barely slowed down. Their metal flesh bodies absorbed the energy and kept moving. Impossible, Thessalcar hissed. Those weapons should have destroyed them. They adapted, Minho realized. Since your last battle, they changed their armor to resist your energy weapons. The Devourer scouts reached the first defensive line. Corithian soldiers fired desperately, but their shots had no effect. The scouts began tearing through the defenders with claws that could cut through steel. We have to help them, Yunbi said, but Thessalcar stopped her. No, you will only die, like the others. These are just scouts. Imagine what their main force can do. But Yunbi was already moving. She and her 3 wolves ran toward the battle, ignoring the war leader's shouts. Minho cursed and followed with Storm, while Jiwan and Flame brought up the rear. The Devourers were unlike anything from Earth's evolutionary history. They moved with mechanical precision, but had the hunger of living predators. Their bodies shifted and changed as they fought, growing new weapons and armor as needed. But Earth's predators had something the Devourers didn't expect: instinct. Yunbi's wolves didn't attack directly. Instead, they circled the enemy like their wild ancestors had circled mammoths thousands of years ago. They moved in patterns older than civilization, using tactics that no computer could predict because they came from the heart of evolution itself. The first Devourer turned to face the largest wolf, just as the pack hunters wanted. While it focused on the obvious threat, the other 2 wolves struck from behind and to the side. Their enhanced claws found gaps in the creature's armor that energy weapons could not reach. The Devourer screamed, a sound like metal tearing and animals dying. Green fluid sprayed from its wounds as it collapsed. Impossible, Thessalcar whispered. They killed it. They actually killed a Devourer. But the victory was short-lived. The other Devourers learned from their fallen comrade's death. Their armor shifted, closing the gaps the wolves had exploited. They adapted their movements to counter the pack-hunting tactics. Jiwan and Flame arrived just as the Devourers finished adapting. The tiger was a different kind of predator, a solitary hunter that relied on stealth and surprise. While the wolves had announced their presence, Flame became invisible. Her enhanced camouflage activated, bending light around her body until she disappeared completely. The Devourer's sensors searched for her, but they were designed to track technology, not living shadows. Flame struck like lightning from behind. Her claws, harder than steel and sharper than razors, sliced through Devourer armor that had just adapted to resist them. She killed 2 creatures in seconds, then vanished again before they could react. The remaining Devourers tried to adapt to this new threat, but how do you adapt to something you cannot see or predict? Flame struck again and again, always from a different angle, never following the same pattern twice. Within minutes, all 12 Devourer scouts lay dead. The battlefield fell silent except for the sound of Corithian soldiers cheering. They had just witnessed something they thought impossible: Devourers being hunted and killed like prey. Thescar stared at the dead creatures, then at the humans and their animal partners. How? He asked simply. Minho knelt beside one of the fallen Devourers and studied its wounds. They adapt to technology, to predictable patterns, but evolution isn't predictable. Instinct isn't logical. They can't adapt to something that changes based on feeling rather than thinking. Storm came to his side, her nose wrinkling at the smell of the dead creatures. Through their link, Minho felt her disgust. These things were wrong, unnatural. They didn't belong in the circle of life that connected all living things. 6 months after the first victory on Korath Prime, the war had spread across the galaxy. Admiral Quan Deho stood on the bridge of the flagship Earth's Fury, watching dozens of bioships prepare for humanity's largest military operation ever. Each ship carried teams of enhanced predators and their human partners to different worlds where the Devourers were attacking. Status report, Quan ordered. Commander Li Taemin checked his datapad. Colonel Song Min-jun's Arctic Wolf units are ready for deployment to the ice world Frostheim. Major Yu Hai-rin has her shark teams prepared for the methane seas of Titan 7. Captain Bae Dong-hyuk's Eagle squadrons are standing by for the atmospheric assault on Windfall. Through the ship's windows, Quan could see the strange sight of Earth's deadliest predators preparing for space combat. Wolves in biosuits practiced zero-gravity maneuvers. Tigers tested their camouflage systems. Eagles flew through training chambers that simulated alien atmospheres. In the aquatic sections, enhanced, sharks swam through tanks of liquid that could survive in the freezing void between stars. "Sir," Taemin continued, "we're also getting reports from the front lines. The Devourers are changing their tactics." "How?" "They're trying to copy our predators. Some witnesses report seeing Devourer units that move like wolf packs. Others have spotted scouts that can camouflage like tigers." Quan frowned. This was what they had feared. The Devourers learned from every encounter. If they could copy Earth's hunting tactics, humanity's advantage would disappear. "Any word from Dr. Park Sojin's research team?" "Yes, sir. She says the Devourers can copy the movements and some abilities, but they can't copy the bond between humans and animals. They don't understand that our strength comes from trust, not just tactics." On the ice world Frostheim, Colonel Song Min-jun led his Arctic wolf pack across frozen plains toward a devourer hive. The temperature was -50 degrees, and the wind cut through the air like knives. But the enhanced wolves moved easily through the snow, their thick fur and biosuits keeping them warm. "Contact ahead," whispered Sergeant Park Hyun-soo through the comm system. His wolf partner Ice had spotted movement near a cluster of frozen trees. Min-jun crouched in the snow and extended his senses through the neural link with his pack leader, a massive white wolf named Frost. Through Frost's nose he could smell the metallic stench of Devourers mixed with something else, the scent of fear. "They know we're coming," he realized. "They're trying to set an ambush." But wolf packs had been avoiding ambushes for thousands of years. Frost led the pack in a wide circle around the enemy position, using the blowing snow as cover. The Devourers waited in their carefully planned trap, but the wolves never appeared where they expected. Instead, the attack came from behind and above. The wolves had climbed the frozen cliffs during the storm. Approaching from the one direction the Devourers thought impossible, they struck like white lightning, their enhanced claws tearing through alien armor before disappearing back into the swirling snow. Meanwhile, on the gas giant moon Titan 7, Major Yu Hai-rin swam through seas of liquid methane with her enhanced sharks. The Devourers had built an underwater base here, thinking no Earth creature could survive in such an environment. They were wrong. The enhanced sharks moved through the alien liquid like it was water. Their biosuits processed the methane and provided everything they needed to hunt in this strange ocean. Hai-rin swam alongside her partner, a great white shark she had named Thunder. Through their neural link, she felt Thunder's excitement as they approached the Devourer base. The shark's enhanced senses could detect the electrical fields generated by alien technology. To Thunder, the base was like a wounded fish bleeding electricity into the water. "Remember," Hai-rin whispered to her team through the comm system, "sharks are ambush predators. One strike, maximum damage, then disappear." The attack was beautiful and terrible. The sharks struck from the deep darkness below the base, rising like living torpedoes. Their enhanced jaws could bite through almost anything, and their improved speed made them nearly impossible to track in the murky methane. Within minutes, the Devourer base was flooding with liquid methane through dozens of holes. The creatures inside tried to adapt, but how do you adapt to being in the middle of a feeding frenzy? High above both battles, Captain Bae Dong-hyuk led his Eagle squadrons through the thick atmosphere of Windfall. The planet had air so dense that normal aircraft could barely fly, but the enhanced Eagles soared through it effortlessly. "Target spotted," reported Lieutenant Kim Young-ho. His Eagle partner, Swift, had the best eyes in the squadron. "Devourer air units, 12 o'clock high." Dong-hyuk looked up through his Eagle Stormwing's eyes and saw them. Devourer flyers that looked like mechanical bats made of steel and living tissue. They moved in perfect formation, but they flew like machines, not like living creatures. "Show," Them how real predators hunt in the sky, Dong Hyuk ordered. The eagles didn't attack in formation like the devourers expected. Instead, they scattered like leaves in the wind, each one following its own hunting instincts. Some dove from above like falling stones. Others climbed high into the atmosphere before striking. Still others flew in impossible spirals that confused the enemy's targeting systems. Stormwing folded his enhanced wings and dropped like a missile toward a devourer flyer. At the last second, he spread his wings and raked his steel-hard talons across the creature's wing. The alien machine spun out of control and crashed into the planet's surface far below. All across the galaxy, similar battles were happening. Earth's predators adapted their ancient hunting skills to alien environments, while the devourers struggled to understand enemies that fought with instinct rather than logic. But the devourers were learning. On the industrial world Mechanicus, they had prepared their greatest trap yet. General Seo Jin-woo arrived with the largest force of enhanced animals ever assembled. Thousands of wolves, tigers, eagles, sharks, and swarms of enhanced ants prepared for what everyone knew would be the decisive battle of the war. "Something's wrong," reported Captain Oh Min-ho as his wolf storm sniffed the air nervously. "The devourers aren't running. They're not even hiding. They want us to find them." "It's a trap," agreed Dr. Park So-jin, who had come to observe the battle. But what kind of trap could hold thousands of Earth's apex predators? They got their answer. When the attack began, the devourers had created copies of Earth's animals. Mechanical wolves that moved in perfect packs, robot tigers with artificial camouflage, drone eagles that flew in precise formations. But these copies were bigger, stronger, and had weapons built into their bodies. "They're trying to beat us at our own game," Jin-woo realized as he watched mechanical wolves clash with real ones across the battlefield. For a moment it looked like the devourers might succeed. Their artificial predators had all the abilities of Earth's animals but none of the weaknesses. They felt no fear, no fatigue, no doubt. But they also felt no loyalty, no trust, no love. Corporal Lim Young-soo was pinned down by 3 mechanical wolves when his partner, a gray wolf named Spirit, was badly wounded trying to protect him. Young-soo felt Spirit's pain through their neural link, and something inside him snapped. He charged the mechanical wolves with nothing but a combat knife, screaming with rage. The machines calculated that his attack was illogical and suicidal. They were right about it being suicidal, but they were wrong about it being useless. Young-soo's sacrifice gave Spirit time to call for help through the pack's mental network. Within seconds, dozens of real wolves converged on the mechanical ones. They didn't fight like individual soldiers. They fought like a family protecting one of their own. The mechanical wolves were stronger and faster, but they couldn't understand why the real wolves kept attacking even when wounded. They couldn't comprehend the fury of a pack protecting its members. All across the battlefield the same thing happened. Enhanced tigers fought alongside their human partners with a desperation that confused the mechanical copies. Eagles dove into impossible attacks to save wounded humans. Sharks threw themselves against overwhelming odds to protect their teammates. Dr. Park So-jin watched the battle and finally understood something important. "They can copy our tactics," she said into her communicator. "They can copy our abilities. But they can't copy 4 billion years of evolution that taught us that survival isn't just about being the strongest. It's about being part of something bigger than yourself." The tide of battle turned when the enhanced ants arrived. Millions of tiny insects swarmed over the mechanical predators, getting into their joints and circuits. Each ant was too small to cause much damage alone, but together they were like a living electrical storm that overwhelmed the machine systems. By sunset, the last mechanical predator had fallen. The battlefield was covered with the wreckage of devourer technology and the bodies of both artificial and real animals. But the real predators had won, and everyone knew it. That night, as medics treated the wounded and engineers studied the destroyed machines, Admiral Kwan received a message from across the galaxy. The devourers were retreating from every front. For the first time since the war began, they were running away. 2 years after the great battle on Mechanicus, the galaxy had changed in ways no one could have predicted. Admiral Kwan Dae-ho now showing gray in his hair, walked through the corridors of the new Interspecies Evolutionary Institute on Earth's moon. Through the windows, he could see ships from dozens of alien species coming and going, all carrying students eager to learn about Earth's predators. "Hard to believe, isn't it?" said Dr. Park So-jin as she joined him at the observation deck. "2 years ago, the council thought we were too primitive to help. Now everyone wants to study our death world evolution." Kwon nodded. "Where are the Devourers now?" "Still retreating toward the galactic rim," So-jin replied. "They haven't been seen in core space for 8 months. But Commander Lee's intelligence reports suggest they're building something out there. Something big." They walked together toward the main research laboratory, passing classrooms where alien students learned about Earth's evolutionary history. In one room, insectoid Manthari studied videos of wolf pack hunting tactics. In another, crystalline Vorthak tried to understand the concept of loyalty between species. "Dr. Yoon wants to see you," So-jin said as they approached the lab. "She has something important to show you." Dr. Yoon Ji-hai looked older too, but her eyes still held the same intensity they had in the underwater laboratory where this all began. She stood beside a large window that looked out onto what everyone now called the Predator training grounds. "Look at that," she said, pointing outside. Kwon looked and couldn't help but smile. On the moon's surface, protected by atmospheric domes, a strange sight was taking place. A young Carithian soldier was training with a pack of enhanced wolves, while a Zolonian pilot practiced aerial maneuvers with modified eagles. Most amazing of all, a group of enhanced animals that had chosen to stay in space rather than return to Earth were teaching alien cadets how to hunt. "They're forming their own packs," Yoon explained. "Multi-species packs. The wolves are accepting alien partners. The tigers are teaching Manthari stealth techniques. It's like evolution happening in fast forward." "What about the enhanced animals that wanted to stay in space?" Kwon asked. "Are they happy?" Yoon's expression grew serious. "That's what I wanted to talk to you about. They're not just happy, they're thriving, and they're making decisions we never expected." She led them to a communication station where Captain Oh Min-ho was talking to someone through a video link. On the screen was Storm, his wolf partner, but she was floating in zero gravity inside what looked like a space station. Storm decided to start her own pack, Min-ho explained. "She's taken young wolves from different human partners and is teaching them to hunt in space itself. They've learned to use asteroid fields as cover and to track ships by their energy signatures." Through the video link, Storm looked directly at Kwon and made a soft whining sound. Min-ho translated through their neural link. "She says to tell you that Earth's children are no longer just Earth's. They belong to the galaxy now, and they'll protect it from anything that tries to hurt it." Before Kwon could respond, alarms began sounding throughout the facility. Emergency lights flashed red, and voices echoed through the corridors calling all personnel to battle stations. "What's happening?" Kwon demanded. General Nam Hyun-woo appeared on the main screen, his face grim. "Long-range sensors have detected a massive fleet approaching from the galactic rim. It's the Devourers, and they're not retreating anymore. They're coming back in force." "How long do we have?" Yoon asked. 6 weeks, maybe less. And Admiral, they're different now. Our scouts report that they've built ships we've never seen before. Ships that move like living creatures instead of machines." Kwon felt his stomach drop. The Devourers had been learning too, and now they were returning with new tactics. "Send word to all allied fleets," he ordered. "Full mobilization, every enhanced Predator unit, every alien ally, every ship we have." Over the next month, the galaxy prepared for what everyone knew would be the final battle. But this time was different. Instead of just human-animal teams, mixed species units trained together. Carithian soldiers learned to fight alongside wolves. Zolonian pilots flew in formation with enhanced eagles. Even the crystalline Vorthak, who had no experience with biological warfare, partnered with enhanced ants to create living electrical networks. Captain Bae Dong-hyuk, now a colonel, oversaw the training of the largest aerial force ever assembled. His eagle partner Stormwing had become the leader of a flock that included not just Earth eagles, but flying creatures from a dozen worlds, all working together. The Devourers think they can beat us by copying our evolution, Dong-hyuk said as he watched the mixed-species flocks practice their maneuvers. But evolution isn't just about individual species, it's about entire ecosystems learning to work together. On the underwater training facilities, Major Yu Hairin's sharks now hunted alongside creatures from the water worlds of 3 different star systems. The Aquatic Alliance, as they called themselves, had developed tactics that no single world predator could have imagined. But the most amazing change was in the enhanced animals themselves. They had begun making their own decisions about the war. Sergeant Choi Eun-bi received a message from her original wolf pack, who had chosen to remain in space after the Mechanicus battle. They had found something in the outer system, a Devourer, scout ship that had crashed on a dead moon. "We need to see what they found," Eun-bi told her commanding officers. When the investigation team arrived at the crash site, they discovered something that changed everything. The scout ship wasn't just mechanical. It was partly organic, grown rather than built. But more importantly, it was dying. "Look at this," Dr. Park So-jin said as she studied the wreckage. "The biological parts are diseased. They're breaking down." Dr. Yoon ran her scanners over the ship's remains. It's like they tried to copy organic life without understanding how it really works. They created artificial evolution, but it's unstable. Through the neural link, Eun-bi felt her wolves' thoughts. They could smell the wrongness in the crashed ship, the scent of life that was not really alive, evolution that was forced rather than natural. They're trying to become like us, Eun-bi realized. But they don't understand that evolution isn't just about copying. It's about growing, learning, changing over millions of years. They're trying to skip all that and go straight to the end result. When the Devourer fleet finally arrived, it was unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. The ships moved like living creatures, flowing and changing shape as they flew. But when the battle began, their weakness became clear. The bioships were powerful but unstable. They could adapt quickly, but their artificial evolution was breaking down under the stress of combat. More importantly, they had no true pack instincts, no real cooperation, just programmed responses that mimicked teamwork. Without understanding it, the final battle took place in the space around Earth itself. Admiral Kwan commanded the largest fleet in galactic history from the bridge of the Evolution's Pride. While around him, the most incredible sight in the universe unfolded. Wolves in biosuits fought alongside alien warriors in the corridors of Devourer ships. Tigers prowled through zero gravity alongside crystalline hunters. Eagles and alien flyers danced through space in aerial ballets of destruction. And through it all, the enhanced animals that had chosen to make space their home coordinated the battle through mental networks that spanned multiple star systems. But the most decisive moment came when Storm, Minho's original partner, led her spaceborne pack in a direct assault on the Devourer command ship. The wolves had learned to hunt in 3 dimensions, using asteroids and space debris as cover, moving in patterns that no artificial intelligence could predict. As Storm's pack tore through the command ship's biohull, the entire Devourer fleet began to collapse. Without their central coordination, the artificial bioships started breaking down, their forced evolution finally failing under the stress of real combat. "It's over," Commander Lee Tae-min reported, as the last Devourer ship dissolved into space. Dust. "The fleet is completely destroyed." But Kwan knew it wasn't really over. Somewhere in the galaxy, the Devourers might try again. But next time they would face not just Earth's predators, but an entire galaxy that had learned the most important lesson in the universe. 5 years later, Kwan stood in the same observation deck where this story had begun, but everything was different now. The Galactic Council chamber had been rebuilt on Earth's moon, and instead of just politicians, it included representatives from enhanced animal populations across the galaxy. Storm, now an old wolf, lay beside the human section, officially recognized as Earth's first non-human ambassador. Through speakers that translated her thoughts, she addressed the council. "The galaxy has learned that survival is not about being the strongest or the smartest," her translated voice said. "It is about being part of something bigger than yourself. The Devourers failed because they tried to copy evolution without understanding it. They saw predators and prey as enemies, but they are really partners in the dance of life.